Thanks for joining us again. We are your election headquarters. So let's talk about where all of the action is today, Assin North, because vote vying and issues of pockets of attacks have characterized the rather peaceful and well-organized by-elections in the Assin North constituency of the Central Region. It is a crucial vote for both the governing side, the New Patriotic Party, and the opposition, National Democratic Congress. There's two sides have marshaled all of the resources available to them to ensure that their party's candidate emerges victorious after today's polls. This afternoon, as your election headquarters, we've also done the same by marshalling all of our resources to ensure that you're informed about every incident regarding this very crucial elections. First, though, there's more from my colleague Richard Kojonyako and Ohiming Tevia, who are on the ground for us, and will be bringing us all of the action of what's happening as we're just about hours to end the crucial by-elections. But first, though, let's help you understand what's happening within the Assin North area, shall we? So we know that the Assin North district is one of the 22 districts in the Central Region, originally part of the then larger and first Assin North Municipal District in 2004. And southern parts of the district was actually split off to create the present Assin North that we see back in 2018, the capital being Assin Breko, where, of course, it's been deemed that this is the area that will be the stronghold for all. Actual population within the area is around 80,539. So that's the outlook of the place. But those who will be deciding this election will be less than half, or perhaps say half of that number. So who are those going into the elections? There you have them, Charles Opoku coming on board and replacing the New Patriotic Party's candidate in the 2018, the 2020 general elections, because Charles Opoku is the new parliamentary face for the NPP, who says he's keen on unseating James Jachikwesin. And it's because of James Jachikwesin that all of this is happening today. He's been indicted by a Supreme Court ruling indicating that he's got dual nationality, a reason for which his candidacy at the time and subsequent electoral victory was annulled by the Supreme Court. So James Jachikwesin, in the middle there, will be seeking to retain, if not retain, contest once more to ensure that this time around he becomes Member of Parliament of the area. There's also the LPG's candidate, who's Sepeno Benis Anyunam, representing the LPG. But how's the data looking like in terms of projections for the NPP and the NDC going forward? I'll show that to you shortly. But first, you need to know that James Jachikwesin is on the ticket of the National Democratic Congress, way older than his main contender, who is now 70 years of age, as you see right there on your screens. He comes from Assin Breko, where, of course, I've been telling you about the dynamics and how a lot has changed for James Jachikwesin. But James Jachikwesin, we know, is the former Member of Parliament for the area. Now the Supreme Court says he's been struck off the records, so he would have to run again. Now you have Charles Opoku also coming from that same Assin Breko, changing the narrative and the dynamics. But over the year, this is how things played out within the constituency itself. Back in '96, obviously you had Kennedy Japan, who is there and has been there since as the MP now of one of the Assin areas, but originally that was a broader area, so he dominated. And then we had a swing situation between the NDC and the NPP on different occasions, especially between 2012 to 2020, because that was when the dynamics had changed within the area, Assin North, as we're talking about, because the creation of the new area and also the new constituency brought about some changes in the face. So we can categorically say that this is a swing area, but based on last time's elections, I mean the 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections, you can see clearly there that the presidential candidate won, who happens to be the president now, 50.81%, and you have James Jachikwesin coming through and winning with some 55.21%, signaling that there might be a case of skirt and blouse there, also pointing to some issues that bedeviled the New Patriotic Party within the constituency, a reason for which their parliamentary candidate could not win that elections. And on the grounds this afternoon, though, Joy News is learning of tension which is building up. The NDC National Youth Organizer, George Opariado, is allegedly the first to have suffered some attacks. We've seen videos going viral on social media indicating that. We'll be getting to the grounds for you shortly. And also getting you some updates on what's happening. But George Opariado, as I was indicating, is one of them. We're also learning of that of Sami Gyamfi. So we can now take you over to the constituency where all of the events are unfolding. My colleague Richard Kojinyako and of course the others are monitoring the event there. Richard, what's happening and what can you report? Richard, if you can hear me, I'm just asking what's the latest where you are?
In the Assin North Constituency. In fact, we have traveled the entire day. We are not yet at our destination. Shortly, we'll be speaking with the Electoral Commission Director of Operations, Dr. Sribu Kweku. But my colleague, Ohimin Tewia, is with me. Ohimin, we've journeyed from dawn. We are getting to dusk. What can you tell me about what you've observed so far?
I'll say that the electorates in the Assin North constituency has been very enthusiastic about this election. Remember yesterday when we discussed what could be happening today, I told you that one of the indications I have picked is that residents who want to take part in this election, they are taking it as a full-time job. Many of them who are farmers who would love to be, at the polling centers to cast their ballot than to go to their farms. And that is what we are witnessing today. So as early as 4 a.m., some of the electors were already at the polling centers waiting for Electoral Commission officials to even set up for election. That case starts at 7 a.m. So the electors were there 3 hours earlier before the start of the proceedings.
In fact, that is so because they have anticipated this by-election for a very long time. For weeks, campaigns have gone on, they have debated, they've had some conversations and all of that. Now, let's start with how the process started. Security arrangement. How do you see the security arrangement?
Security, I would say, has been top-notch. Yesterday, the IGP did promise the political parties under taking part in this election, the MPP, NDC, and LPG, that security will be one of the key responsibilities of the police, and that police will live up to expectations. So he even asked a party said to leave security to the police, providing security at the electoral voting centers shouldn't be the work of the political parties. And the IGP has lived to the bill. At all the polling stations I have been to, I could count about at least 5 police officers providing security to the electors and then to also the staff of the Electoral Commission. So I would say security has been one of the best in the Assin North constituency.
That notwithstanding, we've witnessed some incident here. One person was arrested for posing as a policeman. Another was arrested for capturing an election material. Did you witness that incident as well?
I didn't witness that incident at the places I visited. Remember, I was at Dansame, I was at India, I was at Sempaneye, I was at Kushia, and all the hamlets around those places. But maybe for those of you who were at Breku, where I would say has been the epicenter of the Assin North constituency by-election, you did witness.
Okay, all right. So we are barely 2 hours to the close of polls here at Assin Breku, and I can tell you that just as Ohemi described the situation, the residents have been very enthusiastic about the entire thing. In fact, as early as 5 a.m., some of them had already formed the queues. With the 99 polling centers here, we are going to witness what many have described as the high turnout of vote. In one of the polling stations that is very close by, a voter population of about 421, over 300 people had voted as at 2 p.m. The other polling station I was also watching, a voter population of about 503. As of 2 p.m., 334 people had voted. So the process is still ongoing. But my colleague, Ohimi Tewia, is going to have a brief interaction with Dr. Sribo Kweku. Ohimi, just let Dr. Sribo Kweku walk us through what has been happening, what we are in for, and where it will all end.
Yes, Kojo, Dr. Sribo Kweku has been on the ground throughout my visit to the polling stations, observing the elections. I met him at all these places, so I'll say he's been the man on the ground as the Director of Elections at the Electoral Commission. Let me find out from you, Dr. Sribo Kweku, your assessment of the entire process leading to the election of a parliamentary candidate for Assin North.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ahime. What I will say is that so far so good. On the part of the Electoral Commission, our materials go up to the various polling stations by 6 o'clock. And as a result, each of the 99 polling stations was able to start at 7 as required. So far, we have not had any issues at the polling station with respect to the ongoing election. The officials are doing their professional work. The BVD machine is working. There have not been any shortage of materials. There have not been any variance at each of the polling stations. So far, I would say that it's good. And the polling stations that we visited before 12 o'clock, almost all of them had more than 50% voter turnout. So we are expecting that by the time we close at 5, the numbers will have increased and possibly go beyond that of the Kumawu elections. So, even though I've heard that some people have been attacked, and I was at the police. I was at the police joint operation command. So they've sent people to the center to go and intervene. So we are hoping that we will have peaceful elections.
I see. You talk about the fact that the voter turnout is high. How would you rate the voter turnout? Because you are talking about the centers you visited before midday or at midday. Now it's been 3 hours now after you visited those places. What has been the information on the ground from your officers who are taking part in the process? Those areas and when we visited, the numbers were more than 50%, but still there were queues and people were still voting. So that's what I'm saying, that I wouldn't be surprised if you go beyond the 60% that was achieved at Kumawu. But I've not had discussions on the front after I have left. So what's the difference between what we are seeing here and the scenes we witnessed in Kumawu as far as voter turnout is concerned? Because you mentioned with the fact that even at this time we still have queues at the polling stations. I've not visited all the centers, but the projection is that we may go beyond that of Kumawu. What I'm saying so in the sense that if you look at the congestions at the polling stations compared to here, you could see a lot of people more than Kumawu. But I can't put my hand until we finish the voting, we do the counting, then we can talk about the figures. As a commission, what has been your projection for a voter turnout? We normally with by-election, we move around 55%. So that is what we expected. But as I said, Kumawu was able to go beyond that. And it is also possible that here too we can go beyond what the Kumawu people achieved. What could be accounting for this high voter turnout in Assin North? I would say that it is confidence in the system. So when you talk of efficacy of the ballot, it is measured by the voter turnout and the number of rejected ballots. So if you talk efficacy, then there should be reduced or lower rejected ballots and higher voter turnout. So if people are voting and this, the people still have confidence in the system. And people know that they can use the ballot or the thumbprint to take a decision.
And that is exactly what is being manifested at our 2 by-elections.
Did the political parties play a role in galvanizing the support or the participation of the electors?
No, election is collective responsibility. So all stakeholders have roles to play. So if all stakeholders have roles to play, then you cannot take off the media, the security services, the political parties, the electoral commission, the voters and everybody. So it means that everybody is playing his or her role. That's why we are achieving what we are getting.
Let's talk about security. I know one of the key concerns that the police and the electoral commission raised yesterday at the stakeholder meeting was security. As a commission, how would you rate the performance of the police, who have been the sole providers of security?
But for the complaints that we received about some people attacking some vehicles, the police is working on that. I wouldn't want to go into details because I don't have the details. But for those reports, I think it would have been so far very peaceful. Because the issue is that people are going to take decisions, and decisions are through their camp. So there's no need for physical attack on anybody. So to me, I get sad when I hear of violence during decisions. But as I said, that is with the police. So for now, I don't have any evidence about anything. But if it is true, then it's official.
That there were issues of or allegations of vote buying from some political parties. I heard the minority leader, Dr. Kesi Atufo, complaining bitterly that the MPP was allegedly behind vote buying in the constituency. As a EC, has this complaint come to your attention?
We have not had that complaint, but what we normally say is that these are infractions on the laws. So if somebody is going contrary to the law, the person should be reported to the police. Because it's the police that have the cloth, who are cloth with the power to investigate and the rest. If you report to the electoral commission, we can't do anything about it because that is not our work. So once the infractions are happening, if you inform us and you have evidence, we can help you to report to the police. But the other thing is that once things are happening, you report to the police. Police will go, if they need to arrest, they will arrest and do the necessary investigation so that they can establish the truth or otherwise of them.
So even if there's allegation of vote buying, those complaints wouldn't come to EC, but it should end up at the police.
They don't have. If anybody is committing any crime, that should not be reported to the electoral commission. If you are telling us, you are already informing us, and probably we will help or facilitate its reportage. But the best is that once somebody is committing a crime, you report the person to the police.
If you are to rate today's election, would you say that as a commission, this is a free and fair election? Though we are not there yet, we are left with some hours to end voting.
So let us know what is free in an election, what is fair in an election. The election is said to be free when all the stakeholders have the freedom to participate in action. For example, some people should have the right to campaign. So far, I have not heard of anybody being stopped during the campaign in terms of campaigning. People should have the right or freedom to go and vote. As of I have not heard that anybody is being stopped from voting. The security services, you the media, you should have the right to do your media work. So far, I don't think any media person has been stopped. So that is the freeness of the party. Then when I talk of fairness, fairness is in application of the law. If the vote is for A, it should be counted for A. If the vote is for B, it should be counted for B. So when the laws are applied as they are in our status, that means that we are being fair. So far, so good. I've not heard of any infractions on the laws, and I've not heard of anybody complaining that he or she is not being allowed to perform his function. So the freeness is there and the fairness is there. But we can conclude after we are finished with the counting and the voting, then the results will show that the election was free and fair.
Once you've brought in the issue of counting of votes, let's talk about collation, because collation has been one of the significant activity that can delay the announcement of the result. As you see, what arrangements have you put in place to ensure that the results comes on time and then they are declared on time?
So if you look at it, when the distribution was done, we were able to get to the center before 6 o'clock. meaning that what you put in place in terms of the movement of the materials, they were successfully achieved. Then we are reversing it for the retrieval of the materials. So once they are well reversed, it will mean that the materials will come on time and we can use that to also do the collection. So we are hoping that by 5:30 the result will start coming and the mechanisms are in place to retrieve the materials. So once they are properly retrieved, then we can get the results.
All right, so Kojo Nyaku, if you can hear me, that has been the conversation between Dr. Siribo Kweku, Director of Elections at the EC, giving them some insights on what has been happening here. So Kojo, if you can hear me, I would like you to take over and speak to some of the people that you have lined up for this afternoon.
And then sorting out and then counting will follow, and then the declaration by the EC. It's interesting how, I mean, a lot of debates are ongoing and the debates are still centering on George Achikwesin, whether he was treated fairly or not. And so a lot of people have trooped from their houses and they have joined the conversation. You can see in your shot how interested the people of this area have become. Farmers who are into rice farming, who are into cocoa production, and all of them, they have gathered here. They are anxiously waiting for the outcome of this very particular by-election. It means a lot to them. In fact, the declaration of the by-election, some of them say that it's brought some goodies to them. Let me engage some of the people that are hearing gathered. Doc, I hope you are fine.
I'm doing well, by grace. How are you too?
I'm good. You are from the Ashanti region. Why are you here? This is the central region. Why have you invaded our territory?
Thank you so much. So, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
This is a regular refrain. I heard some yesterday. What kind of injustice are you talking about?
Injustice to Kwesi today can be an injustice to Dr. Frank Amakuni tomorrow. And we are saying this because we need to eschew political witch hunting and victimization from our democracy. That is the only way we can grow as a people. When we conduct an election, you win, hooray, you lose, hooray, we go. But to manipulate the system in order that you can use that to settle political scores is something we are not ready to go in for. So,
who is manipulating what?
You see, the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, came here into this constituency. And as a renowned lawyer and astute lawyer as he claims he is, knowing very well that everyone is innocent until a court of competent jurisdiction declares otherwise, stood on a big platform and declared Kwesi as a jail candidate. That is so unfortunate, coming from the first gentleman of the land. So it tells you that right from the seat and the heart of government, it is just an orchestration to put Joe Kwesi at a very tight corner. But
not the law, an orchestration rather than.
Of course. What we are doing now and what is
what did the Supreme Court do?
You see, Kwame Nkrumah won his election from the prisons. We've had Nelson Mandela winning as president of South Africa.
So George Achikwesin is another Kwame Nkrumah in the making.
I keep saying that even if they kill and bury Joe Kwesi, we will put his bones together, add ligaments, add muscles, connect blood vessels to his heart, give him a brain, and get him here to contest for any other election that we will conduct in this.
So we are barely 2 hours away from close of polls. Are you confident? Let me check your heartbeat.
Gavin might say, you want to listen to my heart?
You figure George Achikwesin will carry the day?
The outcome of this election is just one. It's a victory for Joe Kwesi. Okay. Nothing else. One outcome from this election.
Thank you very much. So he says that one outcome for George Achikwesin. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
So do you vote here? Have you voted? Do you have a vote?
No, I don't vote here.
But it appears that many of the people that we've been interacting with, they are not voters in the Assin North constituency. Largely, they have come to lend their support to one candidate or the other. So why are you here? You've defied everything. The rains and all of that. You are here to support George Achikwesin?
Yes, please.
You are also drumming injustice?
Injustice, exactly. There has been this injustice meted out to Honorable James Achikwesin Jr. And I came from Assin South this morning. That what Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the Supreme Court has done, it is very wrong. It is very appalling. And we are here to support our people over here to vote and prove to Nana Addo and the Supreme Court that James Jachikwesin Jr. is well loved. The people of Assin North are very proud of him. And today, they are going to prove to the whole world.
Thank you very much. Let me speak with this gentleman. What's your name?
Collins Osamankwa, former MP Assin North Constituency.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for joining us. This is the Pulse on Joy News. Now, I understand that you've gone to some of the polling stations.
Yes. I've been here for the past 4 or 5 days, and I can confidently say that the people are wide awake. They are aware of the massive infrastructure development that the current administration is embarking on within their communities.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It's almost a love affair here. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. So you are not from this constituency. You are definitely from Aguna. So why are you here?
Oh, I'm here just to support, make sure that we win the seat.
What kind of support are you providing them?
Oh, monetary support. We went around to campaign, and today we are supervising to make sure that everything is under control. That's the main reason why we are here, to give support to our young, new, vibrant member of parliament that we are going to usher in next week.
The NDC senses injustice against George Achikwesin, and they feel that the people of Assin North should punish the MPP for that. You also sense the same injustice they are talking about?
Even if your daughter goes for something, even sugar, and you ask her and she says, I didn't take it. When you find out that she took it, you punish her, just to make sure that next time she won't do that again. Jachikwesin lied to Ghanaians. Jachikwesin lied to the good people of Assin North. So he is rather the one who has deceived the people of Assin North. It's not MPP. We have nothing to do with Jachikwesin. It's the law that is dealing with Jachikwesin. And it has happened before. And so for them to tell the good people of Ghana that there's an injustice to Jachikwesin is a big lie. He has done this service to himself. You understand? So what he told the people of Assin North that he is a full Ghanaian and that he's going to change this constituency and turn it into Canada. That is the main reason why they voted for him.
We are barely 2 hours away from the close of polls. Do you feel nervous?
No. I'm so optimistic.
Really? So can we check your heartbeat to see?
You can. I'm sorry.
We'll bring a stethoscope then.
All right.
So Collins, so tell me, do you also smell of the injustice the people are talking about?
Injustice in what sense?
They say that Jachikwesin has not been treated fairly, for which reason they want the electorate here to punish the MPP.
I think we are not living in Banana Republic. We live in a country where laws are working. And now he has issue with the law of the land and not anybody, not any patriotic party, and also even not people of Assin, but the law itself. So we should allow the law to take its own course. Yes.
Do you sound victory coming?
I'm very optimistic, except to say that NDC is on a destructive mission, because I have gone round and the kind of propaganda, malicious campaign that they are embarking on smacks of hypocrisy and double standard. They are the very people who are sharing money. They are
seen some?
Wellington. Yes.
Seen some?
Yes, I was in
capture some of them.
Iteman village. Yes, NDC people were there and they were sharing Wellington boots, cutlasses, money. Dolly not money, and they'll turn around to say that it's rather MPP that is sharing money.
Tell me, has the MPP not also been sharing?
I haven't seen.
You've seen that?
I haven't seen. Of course, I saw it. In fact, I saw them at Kalu village. They came there. They came to Nkranfu village. Yeah, and they were doling out money. Yes, they were buying votes, and also misleading the people that when you vote for MPP, we are going to implement this LGBT. I mean, what do they seek to gain? What do they seek to gain? Our position is clear that we are not in. We are not in because we believe in the laws of this country. We cherish our culture, and our culture frowns on implementation of LGBTQ. So there's no way. Okay.
So thank you very much, Collins. Okay, all right. So I have the communications officer, the National Communications Director of the New Patriotic Party. Earlier, I spoke with you, and you intimated that you were kind of intimidated by what was happening here. Do you still hold that belief?
Well, I didn't say quite that. I said that the NDC appeared to be creating a hostile environment in a place supposedly our stronghold.
And the hostility is gone?
Well, I mean, you see, generally, there's still people here, but the temperature has come down quite a bit. And I think that this is what we expect everything to be. So we expect that the police will continue to maintain this order and ensure that it's a simple process of people expressing their views by selecting who they want to select to represent them. It shouldn't be a do or die affair, as the NDC always talk about. It should be a simple process of democracy. And I think that the calm here now is okay.
I know the stakes are high. Do you feel nervous at this point in time? We are barely 2 hours away from close up.
No. I spoke with your network earlier, and I told them that by 6 p.m., 7 p.m., indeed, when everything is done and counted, the report you'll be giving is that the New Patriotic Party has captured the seat here in Assin North. That, for me, is a certainty I have in my heart.
So your overall assessment of how the things started and they are about ending?
Well, certainly, I mean, the NDC was jittery in the morning. They knew this was coming. Their defeat is imminent. So they were trying initially to create a certain atmosphere to affect the tranquility of the environment and to create fear and panic. But now it's stabilized, and I expect that it will remain this way. We are all vigilant. We are going around and supervising the place. I just came from one police station, Xavier Police Station, supposedly a place that largely votes for the NDC. Everything is quiet there. People are voting as and when they should. So,
is it your contention that if the MPP succeeds in winning Assin Breku, you can confidently and safely say that you've won the by-election?
But that's what it will be, right? That's what it will be. That if we win, then we have won.
Assin Breku, I mean.
Oh, yes. You are meaning that if we win Assin Breku, it's a determination that we have won.
I can see that a lot of the energies are concentrated here.
Not necessarily, but you know, this is one of the biggest. It's a 13 police station area, and so we're confident about winning it. And you see the numbers because there's so many police stations here. And here I think we have about 3 or 4 in this perimeter alone. So that's why you see a lot of people here. But the key thing is that Breku is a key place for us to win, and we'll win it.
Your comment on this, the national organizer of the NDC, George Opariado, Sami Jemfi, and the deputy, they are saying that they've been assaulted, their vehicles have been vandalized. Has this come to your attention?
Well, I've heard reports about that. I think somebody attempted to show me the pictures. The impression created when I heard about it is not quite what I've seen, but that is not to say that it should be minimized. But I'm not sure who did that, but what I think we can all say and push for is that the police must get on the job and find out who those people are and deal with them according to law.
Earlier, one person was arrested for posing as a security person. What do you know about it?
Well, the circumstance of that arrest, I just heard about it vaguely, that somebody has been arrested. The details of it, I'm not aware. But the point is that you have about 800-odd police people here. They must do their work.
All right. Thank you very much. So that's the communications director of the NPP, Mr. Richard Ahinyagba. My colleague, Ohime Ntewia, is here with a brief. He will have a brief interaction with some of our audience. Ohime. Okay. So thank you very much. So where are you coming from? Do you vote in this constituency?
No, I vote at Abra Sebu, Kwamankesi. My name is Kobna, but Nyante. But most people...
Kobna Nyante.
That's right. You seem to know me already.
Yes, I am the chief of the Central Region. So I know everybody. I can count all of you. So why are you here? This is not Abra Sebu Kwamankesi. This is Assin North. Why have you traveled all the way to this place?
It is for the love of the party and it is for national development. I mean, it is a fact that the New Patriotic Party has been the main party in Ghana that has always progressed in terms of social development and all kinds of development in the nation. So if there is the need to be able to increase the number of parliamentarians in parliament for the MPP, it is a duty of call on me to come and support our own. Charles Opoku, who is winning massively today.
You might have your legs on something. That is why you will say that Charles Opoku is winning. From the NDC, they feel that it's a done deal.
I've been here for a couple of days, and it is not just about just sitting here in only Brekusu. I have been to a number of the villages.
And they tell you that Charles Opoku is winning?
Well, you look at the circumstances on the ground. These are people who knew that they never had any support under the NDC when it comes to road construction. And I see a lot of roads under construction, bridges being created. These are people who had no hope that classrooms will be built for them. They are seeing big classrooms being built for them. These are people who never had any hope of getting any cheap compounds. They are seeing cheap compounds being built for them. These are people who never had any hope of getting any support in terms of agriculture. This is one constituency that grows rice. They are seeing massive support in terms of growing rice production right here in this constituency. So when you look at all this support and you look at the work that Charles Opoku himself has done in terms of the number of people that he has supported in education, in terms of the number of foundations that he has supported in the constituency, if you look at this main Assin Fosu road, this road has been left undone for about 20 years. I remember using this road years ago between Abrasebu, Kwamankasi and Kumasi, and it was horrible. Today, we see bitumen on the road, freshly made, and you drive on it smoothly to Kumasi. So these are the facts on the ground. These are the facts on the ground that gives me the confidence that today MPP is winning Assin North.
Thank you very much, Etudu Kobinanyante. Okay, thank you. So we are still here at the Assin Breku Lorry Park. It's going to be a very long day, a very long night, because the process hasn't yet completed. We are yet to complete the entire thing. Close of polls, it has 5 p.m. Sorting out of the ballots will follow, and then counting will also continue. Then thereafter, whoever will be declared winner by the EC, that will automatically and ultimately complete the process. So you see, we are surrounded by a sea of supporters from both the MPP and the NDC, and also the LPG. But we are not hearing much from the LPG candidate and the followers of the LPG candidate. But the fact remains that we have 3 candidates that are contesting this election. So let me speak lastly to the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, who is also touring some of the constituencies. So, sir, tell me, what have you found on the ground? Are you winning?
We are winning, despite the violence of the MPP. They've shot into the youth organizer's vehicle, but for God, he would have been a dead man. They attacked the vehicle of the National Communication Officer, Sami Jemfi, destroyed and vandalized his vehicle. They attacked the Deputy Communication Officer's vehicle, Malik Basintali. We will not break the law. We will not be violent, but we will defend ourselves.
I keep on hearing they. Which of the MPP people do you know, for which reason you are saying is the MPP?
We have given information to the police. I just saw some military officers, numbering about 6, in a vehicle here. I've confronted them. They've bolted. By the time we called for reinforcement, they were nowhere to be found. Simply because in our agreement with the police, we do not have, as part of our plans, for any joint operation under the circumstances. There could only be a joint deployment where they call for reinforcement if the police cannot contain the situation on the ground. You can see how peaceful this exercise has been. There was no room, there was no basis for us to see military officers on this field. And that any military officer seen is an imposter. And so the NDC will not break the law. The NDC will not take our brothers for granted, but we will not be intimidated. That I must repeat. That the NDC will not be intimidated today, will not be intimidated tomorrow. What happened in Ayawasu, an inch of it will not happen here. We came here in peace, we'll live here in peace. At the end of the day, whoever wins have won. We will accept the verdict of a transparent election. We will accept the verdict that is representing the will of the people. But when we would have to be subjected to any form of intimidation, that will not happen. I am very confident that from the look of things, by 6 p.m., the MDC will retain Honorable Jechikwesin as a member of Parliament for Assin North. Thank you.
Have you reported the matter to the police?
We have done so and given them evidence.
All right. So that is Mustafa Bande, the Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, making some statements here. But in all, he is calling for peace, that they are for peace, they are not for war, and they will do everything they can to sustain the peace and the democracy we all enjoy as Ghanaians. So we are still at the Assin Breku, and this is a very important TEF, because both parties believe that should any of them win the Assin, all the police stations in Assin Breku, then the by-election is a done deal. They will not even focus on the other polling stations elsewhere, because this one is a very important place for them. And that is why you find a lot of the people that are here, the people that reside in that Assin North constituency, and the people that do not come from here. Some have traveled all the way from the Ashanti region, Eastern region, Western region, to lend their support to their respective parties and candidates in this very election. So I will hand you over to Blessed Suga to continue with the polls on Joy News.
We are indeed your election headquarters. Richard Kojinyako giving us the latest from the Assin North area. Quite a charged atmosphere there, given the fact that all the political parties have less than 2 hours to make a difference, if any, before the counting gets underway. We've also been interacting with leading figures of the National Democratic Congress, starting with the General Secretary, Fifi Fiavikwete, who's been sharing his thoughts about the exercise today.
Very good so far.
So you've been around, you've monitored. How is everything going?
Hello. I would say largely very peaceful so far, and a very brisk activity. I would say we are happy so far with how things have been. We expect that to continue like this all the way to 5 o'clock, and then also the counting. So far very good.
Okay. So any reservations, any observations that you've made that you want the police to address so far?
I would say largely the police have shown to be very professional in all the places we've been. There's really not been any major incident. We pick up a few, but we're yet to get a confirmation. We've heard, for example, that there is a military officer that has been busted. We picked that news. Yet to get a full confirmation of that. I guess one of your sister stations must have picked it up or something like that. That would be worrying. But then the news is that it's the police that arrested him. So we show that the police clearly is very determined to ensure that the right thing is done. So we hope that continues all the way.
There's been allegations of money sharing, from both the MPP and the NDC side. You, as the General Secretary of the NDC, how would you react to this?
I would say that, by and large, our friends on the other side, being in government, are known exactly for doing what they do. We can anticipate that a lot more will be done on their part.
Do you mean the NDC in opposition is broke?
NDC obviously can never compete with MPP when it comes to money. You know that. I mean, clearly they have access to virtually the whole government money. They can share as much as they want. It's not just, bribery is not just in terms of even the money that they are sharing today, but even the whole degeneration of impoverishing people and then coming on election time to come and deceive them that you are actually caring for them, constructing roads overnight, building this and building that. That all is part of the big corruption that is going on. But we are hoping our people, even though there's a lot of difficulty in the economy, will be able to appreciate that this amount to just insulting their intelligence. I mean, not caring about them and waiting until election before you take care of them. So let's hope our people are awake to that reality.
How do you respond to the MPP is still holding on to the fact that Honorable Jachikwesin is an alien, he's a bugger, he doesn't belong here, and so the people should vote against him? How would you respond to that?
I think we'll leave that for the people of Assin North, and I'm sure the Assin North people who voted for him massively the first time will be able to do exactly the same thing again. I mean, MPP can say what they want, but the people's will be manifest, and I'm sure by close of today it will be obvious that no matter all the evil orchestration, and remember, all this orchestration is coming from just one thing. Jachikwesin was part of the group that voted for the Speaker of Parliament. That is it. If Jachikwesin had not done that vote, trust me, he would not be persecuted today. If he had not been in that process, there's no way they would have done what they are. Or if Jachikwesin is what you call a corrupt person who decides to go and see them and compromise himself, collect bribe, from the degenerate government that we have, all this problem would not have been. So that's the problem we have. A government that is determined to corrupt this country, want to subject everybody to their will, are ready to bribe. If you are not ready to bribe, then they persecute you. If you are not ready, they will jail you. But the people of Ghana will resist them, and there will be an end to this darkness.
You spent weeks campaigning. Are you confident that by close or post today, your candidate will emerge the winner? What will it do for the NPP?
First and foremost, you must remember this election, this particular constituency was won by Nana Akufo-Addo in the year 2020. That's the last election. So generally they have some advantage, but we believe that the people will be able to see exactly the nature of what is going on in the country, especially the persecution that the MP is going through, and cautiously we are optimistic. But we are not leaving any stone unturned.
Well, we're also hearing reports that the National Communications Officer of the NDC, Sammy Gyamfi, has been attacked. We've not confirmed that yet, but earlier we caught up with him as well to take his thoughts on what's happening.
And you can see it. Afeni has started. By the time we are done, you will see the love that people have for him. No matter the intimidation, no matter Sika and Nipa Nina Bepa, you and Yamiashano, no Shirano.
Sammy, obviously, my mistake, because I'm for Charles Opoku never. But my mistake.
Charles Opoku is a political prostitute. Oh, Oba Jose. Yama honorable question Tranche, near Manemra. Exactly. And yes, NDC,
where was that? Where was that?
It will make the so. I can give you WhatsApp chats with our executives. That's a political prostitute. No principles, no conviction, no track record. You don't even vote here. And no person here MP. Let's leave it to the good people of Assin North to decide.
Thank you. Now, have you regretted? And this more regretted somebody James has now. Because contest now, easy contest at all.
We could not have gotten any better option. Since this constituency was created in 2012, the parliamentary candidate from 2012, the Sinewenya Mapa in any election, is him 17,500. Ebro Biadieso, Ebro presidential candidate Biadieso. He's the most popular person from Assin North. You can see the love they have for him. And we are happy, we are excited that we have somebody like Jachikwe leading our campaign. Thank you.
So that is Sammy Gyamfi, the communications officer of the NDC, indicating and alleging that Charles Opoku came to the NDC to tell them they should ignore George Achikwe and allow him to contest as the candidate for this place, but they did not agree to that demand, and that is why he is describing Charles Opoku as a political prostitute, because he does not stick to one place. He came to them and he's saying that he can show us WhatsApp messages between himself and Charles Opoku, with Mr. Charles Opoku saying that he wants to join the NDC and they should allow him to contest in the name of the NDC. So that is currently happening. We are trying to get a word from Mr. George Achikwe, who is just voted. He is clad in all white, and the supporters believe that George Achikwe will be the eventual winner of this by-election. Meanwhile, the security has been very, very tight. We saw what happened when we went to the police center. Even though it's been a bit chaotic, but the security were able to put situations under control. And in terms of how the process is going, it's been going very, very smooth. He has voted. Now, the question many of the supporters of the NDC are asking is that now George Achikwe has voted here. What about Charles Opoku? Because Charles Opoku cannot vote in this constituency as of now. And so this is what they are saying.
Has voted. The foreigner has voted. Now, the Ghanaian, that they say, they claim to be the citizen of Ghana. He should come and vote. We are waiting for them. Because our candidates have already voted. And they claim that he's a foreigner, Canadian. Now, we are waiting for the Ghanaian to come and vote. Yes, we are waiting for him to come and vote.
What has Charles done for you to repose that kind of confidence in him that he will win?
Sure, bro, sure. If it is more than 70%, then they means they have cheaters. That means you see have massaged them numbers. Yes.
Why will you be accusing the EC? Because now this is
And we are your election headquarters. We'll be taking you back to the Assin North area where counting will be starting in almost about an hour from now. But then we're also looking at another side to the story because virtually no activity at all taking place in Parliament today. There you see it on your screens, an empty chamber where, of course, business was expected to be carried out today. What's accounting for this and what will be the implication for democratic governance? We'll explore that when we return, plus get you some updates on what's happening. This is The Pulse. Please stay. We'll be back.